part of Pippi Longstocking. She was at the circus and she had just ridden around on the ringmaster's back like he was a pony. And we stopped there because the ringmaster needed to get a drink of water and comb his hair. And then he came in again, bowed to the audience, and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, in a moment you will be privileged to see the greatest marvel of all time, the strongest man in the world, the mighty Adolf, whom no one has ever been able to conquer. Here he comes, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to present to you the mighty Adolf." And into the ring stepped a man who looked as big as a giant. He wore flesh colored tights and had leopard skin draped around his stomach. He bowed to the audience and looked very pleased with himself. "Look at all those muscles," said the ringmaster, and squeezed the mighty Adolf's arm where the muscles stood out like balls under the skin. "And now, ladies and gentlemen, I have a very special invitation for you. Who will challenge the mighty Adolf in a wrestling match? Which of you dares to try his strength against the world's strongest man? $100 for anyone who can conquer the mighty Adolf. $100, ladies and gentlemen. Think of that. Who will be the first to try?" Nobody came forth. "What did he say?" asked Pippi. "He said anybody that can lick that big man will get $100, answered Tommy. "I can," said Pippi, "but I think I'd be too bad, though, because he looks nice." "Oh, no, you couldn't," said Annika. "He's the strongest man in the world." "Man, yes," said Pippi, "but I'm the strongest girl in the world." Meanwhile, the mighty Adolf was lifting heavy iron weights and bending thick iron rods in the middle just to show how strong he was. "Oh, come on now, ladies and gentlemen," cried the ringmaster. "Does no one here want to earn $100? Shall I be forced to keep this myself?" And then he waved a $100 bill in the air. "No, you certainly won't be forced to do that," said Pippi, and she stepped over the railing into the ring. The ringmaster was absolutely wild when he saw her. "Get her out of here! I don't want to see any more of you," he hissed. "Then why do you have to be so unfriendly about it?" said Pippi reproachfully. "I just want to fight the mighty Adolf." "This is no place for jokes," said the ringmaster. "Get out of here before the mighty Adolf hears your impudent nonsense." But Pippi went right up by the ringleader and up to the mighty Adolf. She took his hand and she shook it heartily. "Shall we fight a little bit, you and I?" she asked. The mighty Adolf looked at her but didn't understand a word. "In 1 minute I'll begin," said Pippi, and begin she did. She grabbed the mighty Adolf around the waist, and before anyone knew what was happening, she had thrown him on the mat. Mighty Adolf leapt up, his face absolutely scarlet. "Atta girl, Pippi!" shrieked Tommy and Annika so loudly that all the people at the circus heard it and began to shriek, "Atta girl, Pippi!" too. The ringmaster sat on the railing, wringing his hands. He was mad. But mighty Adolf was madder. Never in his life had he experienced something so humiliating as this. And he certainly intended to show that little red-headed girl what kind of man the mighty Adolf really was. He rushed at Pippi and caught her around the waist, but Pippi stood firm as a rock. "You can do better than that," she said to encourage him, and then she wriggled out of his grasp, and into the twinkling of an eye, the mighty Adolf was on the mat again. Pippi stood beside him, waiting. She didn't have to wait long, and with a roar he was up again, rushing at her. "Oh, tiddly-bum and tiddly-day," said Pippi, and then all the people in the tent stamped their feet and threw their hats in the air and shouted, "Hooray, Pippi!" And when the mighty Adolf came rushing at her for the third time, Pippi had lifted him high in the air and with her arms straight above her carried him clear around the ring. And then she laid him on the mat again, and she held him there. "Well, I'm getting the yawns. Maybe it's time for you to go to bed and for me to go to bed. We can yawn together." Ooh. Oh, we're getting close to going to good night time, aka bedtime. "Pippi is the winner!" cried the people, and the mighty Adolf stole out as fast as he could. The ringmaster had to go up and hand Pippi $100, although he looked like he'd much prefer to eat her. "Here you go, young lady, here you are," he said. $100. "Oh, that thing," Pippi said scornfully. "What would I want with that piece of paper? Take it and try to use it to fry a herring if you want," she said, and she went back to her seat. "This certainly is a long circus," she said to Tommy and Annika. "I think I'll just take a little snooze, but wake me up if you need my help with anything else." And then she lay back in her chair and went to sleep at once. And there she lay and snored for all the clowns and the sword swallowers and the snake charmers. They did their tricks for Tommy and Annika and the rest of the people at the circus. Just the same, I think Pippi was the best of all, said Tommy to Annika. And that's the end of Pippi Longstocking. But looks like Butter does not want to come and join us. But I'll show you her. Hey, Butter. Hi, Butter. All right. So I hope you enjoyed that story.